The smell of floor bleach in the restroom hits your nose, pungent and cheap. The barracks hallway at Fort Bragg stretches endlessly, silent under flickering fluorescent lights. The soles of your combat boots strike the tiled floor in a steady rhythm. Rigid, arrogant. You are 25 years old, and you are wearing the uniform of the 75th Ranger Regiment. On your chest is a stacked rack of ribbons, 3 combat deployments: Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria. The dust and smoke of those lands of death still seem to cling to the wrinkles around your eyes. You walk with your chin held high. At this age, with flawless performance reports, you believe you are at the apex of the military food chain. You are the best of the best. You open your wall locker. A small slip of white paper, no logo, no letterhead, flutters down to the toe of your boot. You bend down to pick it up. Printed on the paper is only a faded address in a civilian area and a single time slot: 0200. 2 in the morning. You flip the paper over. Blank. Some nameless phantom just dropped a non-existent invitation into your territory. You smirk. You think you've just stumbled upon a secret door, but you are wrong. That piece of paper didn't fall out by accident. It was placed precisely there, at a perfect angle, to ensure you had no choice but to see it. 2 in the morning. You push open the door of a dilapidated briefing room tucked behind an old warehouse. There are no flags or bunting. There are no metal-bedecked officers standing to salute. There is only a man in a faded plaid shirt and cheap khaki pants sitting behind a rusted metal desk. He doesn't state his name. He doesn't introduce his unit. He jerks his chin toward the empty chair. The attrition rate is over 90%. His voice is flat, entirely devoid of emotion, as if reading a breakfast menu. If you die in training, you do not exist. If you are captured in the field, we have never heard your name. Your family will receive a piece of paper reporting a helicopter training accident. He slides a rough-edged form toward you. A cheap plastic ballpoint pen rolls next to it. You pick up the pen. You scrawl your name in the bottom right corner. Without a single second of hesitation, the man retrieves the paper, a faint smirk playing on his lips. There is no psychological evaluation given. There are no multiple-choice questions about morality or humanity. The machine doesn't need a test, because they know full well only those whose nervous systems are twisted enough, dangerous enough, and arrogant enough would dare pick up a pen to sign such an anonymous death warrant. You are 25 years old, and you are dragging your exhausted legs across the steep slopes of the Appalachian Mountains. The 40-pound rucksack bites into your shoulders until they bleed. The freezing air cuts to the bone. 4 weeks have passed. There is no clear map. There are no guides. There is no time limit or specific destination. The cadre are phantoms hiding behind the tree line, silently taking notes. The compass in your hand trembles violently from the cold. On the slope ahead, another candidate wearing an airborne tab slips. His ankle folds at a grotesque angle. A scream of agony tears through the fog. He rolls in the mud, casting a desperate look at you, begging for help. You stop. Look at him. Your legs are dead tired, but you have more than enough strength to hoist him onto your shoulders. But you turn around. You fix your eyes on the compass, bury your head, and keep walking into the fog. His groans fade away, then die completely behind you. You survive that day. 120 men started. Only 12 phantoms dragged themselves to the final rally point. You are selected. Not because you are the fastest runner or the sharpest shooter. You are selected because the system saw what it needed. They aren't looking for saviors. They are looking for men who know how to coldly leave their own kind behind when necessary. You turn 26, and you are standing in a pitch-black room within the training complex. The grueling 6-month operator training course, OTC, is turning you into an emotionless killing machine. The acrid smell of C4 breaching explosives hits your nose. The deafening crack of snapping steel hinges rings out. The 4-man stack breaches the narrow room. Live ammunition, bolts cycling relentlessly. Target silhouettes pop up from blind corners, positioned right next to mannequins playing hostages. The student on your right flank suddenly exhales sharply. His shooting hand trembles slightly. A split second of panic. His trajectory drifts by 2 centimeters, slamming right into the bicep of a hostage mannequin. The frame slows down. Natural reflex urges you to reach out, tap his shoulder, and cover his sector of fire. But you do nothing. You coldly pull the trigger. 2 rounds drill straight into the center of your target's forehead. Your corner is clear. You complete your sector and step past your crumbling teammate. At the end of the day, That student has to pack his bags and leave the camp. The cadre evaluate you with one word: stable. At this Tier 1 level, teammates are not people for you to reach out and save or fix mistakes for. Teammates are risk variables. If a link is weak, it must weed itself out, or the system will weed it out. Your only mission is to hit your sector. You are 27 years old, and you officially become an assaulter for Delta Force. Your life turns into a spinning hourglass. 6 months of brutal training, 6 months of deployment to the hottest global flashpoints. Over 100 missions pass, eroding every cell of emotion. Thick dust billows from a mud brick house in a drab suburb of Iraq. The rotors of MH-6 Little Bird helicopters beat a frantic rhythm overhead. Your team has just kicked in the bedroom door. The target is a terrorist kingpin. The order from Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, blaring in your earpiece is crystal clear. Take him alive. Capture him alive at all costs for intel. The man is kneeling on the floor, hands raised to the sky. It seems like it's over, but the corner of your eye catches a glint of metal. His hand is slowly sliding down the thick wool rug, where a pistol is hidden. The team leader doesn't have time to issue an order. Your brain doesn't have time to form a thought. Your index finger has already squeezed the trigger. Phut, phut. 2 5.56 millimeters rounds punch through the target's skull. Blood and brain matter splatter across the baked earth wall. The corpse slumps over. You just saved the entire team, but you just shredded the rules of engagement and a direct order from the Pentagon. Returning to base, you brace yourself for a court-martial, but no disciplinary paperwork is printed out. The squadron commander looks at you and nods slowly. The body is cleaned up. The report is rewritten. The system sends you a silent message. Results matter more than procedure. Starting from the second you pulled that rule-breaking trigger, you are truly trusted by the organization. At 30, you take off the assaulter patch, carrying an SR-25 sniper rifle as you crawl into the role of a reconnaissance sniper. You lie motionless on a jagged rock ledge in a barren mountainous region. Your ghillie suit is caked with sweat and dust. 72 hours pass, no movement, no resupply. You urinate right into a plastic bag shoved under your thigh. Right eye glued to the optical scope. The bone-dry, scorching air blasts your face. In the crosshairs, the high-value target appears in the window of an abandoned factory complex. He is smoking. The angle is perfect. The wind speed is stable. Your finger rests on the trigger. The order from the command center hisses through the comms. Green light. Execute. But the intuition honed by thousands of hours of combat suddenly screams in your brain. Something is off. The height of the windowsill. The hand movements of the target. The unnatural stillness of the surrounding area. You slowly ease your index finger off the trigger. Abort. I don't have the full picture, you say over the radio. Your voice is ice cold. Curses erupt from the other end of the line. You just let the biggest fish of the year get away. 20 minutes later, a UAV drone flies across the sector, transmitting thermal imagery back to the center. Behind the wall where the target just stood, there are 6 tiny thermal signatures moving around. Children, if your bullet had passed through the target, it would have drilled straight into the kids. Returning to base, there are no reprimands. You are transferred to a team handling more sensitive missions. You realize that at this tier, pulling the trigger to kill a man is the instinct of a grunt. The ability to decide not to pull the trigger when the system has already given the green light is what defines a true apex predator. You are promoted. You are 33 years old, wearing the team leader patch. Power comes with the burden of life and death. Under your command are 5 armored phantom assassins. A night raid in Afghanistan. Pitch black darkness. GPNVG. 1-8 panoramic night vision goggles cast a ghostly green hue over your field of view. Your team flows like water through the narrow corridor of a warehouse complex. The wooden door ahead suddenly bursts open. A silhouette darts out, charging straight at the formation. The speed is too fast. Fire! You roar. 4 weapons spit fire simultaneously. The silhouette is ripped apart by dozens of rounds, collapsing onto the stone floor. You step forward, shining your tactical flashlight on the corpse. It's a teenager, face still baby smooth, unarmed. The kid was just running away in a blind panic. Your chest tightens, a terrible, flawed decision. But as the flashlight beam sweeps past the boy's body and illuminates the dark corner behind the door, you see an insurgent lying slumped. His hands are still gripping the trigger of a PKM machine gun pointed straight at the doorway. If the kid hadn't run out and taken the bullets, That insurgent would have had a second and a half to shred your entire team. Your flawed decision killed an innocent, but inadvertently saved the lives of 5 American soldiers. You stand in the darkness, listening to the heavy breathing of your teammates. The apathetic machine teaches you a grim truth. Sometimes, a wrong decision still yields the right result, and the duty of a commander is to swallow that nauseating feeling, live with it, and continue giving orders. At 36, you are a troop sergeant major. Managing over 20 men, your office is bathed in the glow of tactical monitors and piled high with thick reports. One of your operators, formerly your best marksman, begins to show signs of cracking. His eyes are glazed, his hands tremble slightly when loading a magazine. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, is eating away at his brain, but the mission cycle does not allow for interruptions. The operational tempo is overloaded. You are short on men. You call him into your office, look straight into his bloodshot eyes. You pat his shoulder and put him back on the active roster. You're good. Just do your job. That night, during a sweep of a slum, a sharp gunshot rings out. He pulled the trigger. The victim is not an insurgent, but a local man clutching a sack of rice. The stress made him paranoid. The next morning, the incident report sits on your desk. You pick up a black ink pen. Cross out the phrase, "accidental discharge due to panic." Write over it, "Target made a threatening move with a makeshift weapon." You sign off on it. You cover up the truth not because you want to protect the operator. You do it because the machine is not allowed to stop. An internal investigation would stall the troops' entire mission chain. The truth out on the battlefield no longer matters. The most important thing is that this meat grinder must keep operating. You are 40 years old, and you wear the rank of squadron commander. Under your command are 60 of the world's most elite operators. You no longer hold a rifle and kick down doors directly. You sit in a freezing tactical operations center, TOC, surrounded by CIA officers and dozens of live feeds from drones. You run 15 raids a night. Human lives are reduced to infrared blips on a screen. Monitor number 3 flashes relentlessly. One of your teams has just been heavily ambushed in Syria. The chatter of PKM machine gun fire tears through the radio waves, screams calling for a medic. The mission target is escaping in a pickup truck 500 meters away. If you call in an airstrike to cover your team's extraction, the target will disappear into the night. If you force your team to push through the hail of bullets in pursuit, you will catch the target, but you will lose men. Time stands still. The CIA officers in the room hold their breath, waiting for your decision. You key the mic. Alpha team, disregard suppressive fire. Target 12 o'clock. Push hard. Out. A flurry of gunfire erupts over the comms. Then, dead silence. The UAV feed confirms the pickup truck has been neutralized. The target is dead. But in another corner of the screen, 3 infrared blips of Delta operators lie motionless on the ground. The next day, 3 American flags are neatly folded. You receive a medal for successfully eliminating a strategic target. There is no contradiction at all. At this highest echelon, you have become enlightened to the definition of success. Success isn't bringing everyone home safe. Success is a controlled sacrifice. You are trading human lives for results. At 45, you leave the service. The force scrubs all records of you. You become a ghost with no military ID, no service history. You work as a freelance military contractor, a high-end mercenary for CIA Black Ops. The uniform is replaced by civilian clothes, but the battlefield never lets you go. One weekend afternoon, you are pushing a shopping cart in a brightly lit, fluorescent suburban Virginia supermarket. Everything is so peaceful it's bland. Cheap pop music plays from the ceiling speakers. At the checkout counter, a man is arguing over his change. He loses his temper. He slams his hand hard onto the glass counter, screaming in the face of the cowering cashier. The sharp smack echoes loudly. Your pupils dilate to their maximum. Your heart rate spikes to 140 beats per minute. All surrounding sounds vanish. Your adrenal glands pump a massive dose of adrenaline into your bloodstream. Your brain instantly switches into close quarters battle, CQB mode. Your right hand unconsciously drops to your waist, reaching to draw a non-existent Glock pistol. Your calves tense up, ready to lunge forward and snap the target's neck in a fraction of a second. The crying of a nearby child jolts you back to reality. You drop your hand. Cold sweat pours out, soaking your back. You stand panting in the cereal aisle. The brutal truth smacks you right in the face. Your nervous system has been permanently hardwired to a state of war. You are no longer capable of distinguishing between a mine-riddled battlefield and mundane, everyday life. You pass the age of 50, a body crisscrossed with scars, a barren heart. You are sitting hunched in the dark corner of a cheap dive bar. The flashing neon light outside the window casts a hazy glow over the glass of bourbon on the table. The air is thick with the smell of cigarette smoke and cheap alcohol. You pull out your phone. Dial the number of an old sniper you used to work with 10 years ago. The other end rings. No one picks up. There is only the endlessly prolonged silence of those who no longer belong to this world. At that exact moment, 1,000 miles away, in the hallway of Fort Liberty, a 25-year-old ranger, his chest full of campaign ribbons, is walking with his chin held arrogantly high. He opens his wall locker. A slip of white paper with no letterhead flutters down to the toe of his boot. An address, a time slot. You raise the glass of liquor. The jaundiced light reflects in your cold eyes. Your gaze is fixed on the slightly ajar door of the bar. The hinges creak. A chilling truth runs down your spine. You realize a secret that you have hidden from yourself for decades. No piece of paper falls out by accident. There is no random selection. There are no coincidences in this underworld. The system's machine always knows exactly who is ruthless enough, twisted enough, to put pen to paper and sign that anonymous death warrant. It knew beforehand that you would sign. It knows beforehand that young soldier will sign. You bring the glass to your lips, take a sip. The burning alcohol slides down your throat. You understand now. You never truly left the organization. Your files may be erased, your uniforms may be taken back, but your soul is locked into the machine. The piece of being discharged is just a scam. You are not free at all. The system simply transferred you to a new role. The role of a silent observer, sitting in this dark corner, waiting and watching the next loop of flesh and blood begin to be ground down.